there's just so many different chemicals that are so toxic in these products that you're giving a patient who's already compromised. And that's where you said about skinny with the patients that your dad and your company in your practice sees. They've got to be clean. I mean, some of us can get by with a few things. And I hate to say this, but, as we research this, there's 80,000 consumer chemicals that we are dealing with every day in our environment, that from the couch we sit on to everything has all these chemicals, body products, sprays, cleaning products. I mean, you just start naming the list, food, it's all full of these toxic chemicals and that we can't really control. And that's where what you're doing as far as just giving people tools to actually build their life on some solid foundation, and just using products that are really going to help their kids, help themselves, help the environment. I think it's really important.
Absolutely. I think so much of what you have to look at beyond the quality aspect, and this goes along with the quality aspect, is the toxicity aspect. You're not going to stay away from all toxins at all times. You're breathing in right now. Your body produces toxins itself, so there are all of these toxins out there. What you're trying to do is minimize it. This is what I always tell people. You don't have to, sit in a bubble away from toxins,
Yes.
even though a lot of us are sitting in somewhat bubbles now and trying to avoid every single little thing out there.
Yeah.
They're already in us, they're already toxins there, but you do want to minimize it. And that's why I always say, take little steps so that it's the barrel method. You got drops coming in, but you also can minimize those drops like an umbrella does almost by using high quality products with purity to them and few toxins in them, if any. You should really go for none. You should understand every single word that is on the ingredient list.
If you can't understand it, don't use it.
Yeah, no, it's very true.
It's just common sense. And, even people, so just so you know, and I'm sure that you already know this, but for your listeners, if you see the word fragrance on a bottle, they can put anything they want. That is a cover for, they can have 150 different chemicals in there to create that fragrance. And as long as they have fragrance on the label, they do not have to expose what is really in that product. So there's so many loopholes that we've gotten under. And I think we were talking about this earlier before the show started. And, everything is greenwashed. Everybody says natural, eco. People are looking for that. They want that. They want to treat their families well. They want to do the right thing. But you go to a store and it says eco-friendly, natural. Those words have absolutely nothing behind them. They're controlled. That is controlled by the health and beauty industry. There is no FDA that's controlling the health and beauty industry. And we don't know that. We think there's this is America. They would never let you do that. 100% they will. There's nobody controlling anything that is going into our health and body products. And, we see patients that are like, well, I eat organic and I'm drinking water and okay, then we go through their routine, right? Well, they're putting, Bath and Body Works. I don't want to use words, but they're using just a normal, all from head to toe at the very beginning of the day, spray deodorant, head to toe.
Right.
And all of a sudden you're like, well, you've just done yourself in before 7 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely.
Your body's having to try to basically rebound from that for the next 5 hours.
Oh, for sure. It's a toxic burden your body has to deal with. As my father always said, everyone almost alive, their organs of elimination are on overtime. They're running your liver, your lymphatic, and it usually turns into the skin then, because that's a detox organ. It should go through the main three of your kidneys, liver, and lymphatic system. But when those get too much, guess where it goes? It goes through your skin
anymore.
You start getting skin conditions.
100%. They're already dealing with those 80,000 consumer chemicals that are out there that you're not even aware of. And so as you add this toxic burden to your body, all of a sudden it tips the boat. And, you see so many kids right now that I think the biggest thing, they all have like eczema on their skin and they all have this weird stuff on their skin. And, I just really hurt for those mothers that are trying to do the right thing, but, they're putting baby products that they think, and children's products that they think, well, that says natural, it must be okay. And I'll tell you what, those little words, fragrance, natural fragrance. I mean, it doesn't matter what it says. I mean, there's just so many things that we're putting on our kids and ourselves that we don't recognize. And Casper, I have to tell you, so Luke, when he was telling me about that, I honestly didn't believe it. I mean, I fed my kids. I raised 5 kids out of Whole Foods. We used to call it whole paychecks because it was so
Yep.
expensive.
Everyone does.
Okay. And so I thought I was really doing myself and my kids this big favor. So after he told me, Mom, they can put 20% of anything they want, and that doesn't have to, and it didn't have to go on the label. We were at Whole Foods, I don't know, probably the next week. And I said, well, look, this is what I picked up something. I said, this is what I'm using. And I got the label and I said, I'm a big label reader. And I said, it doesn't say it on the label. He said, Mom, that's because it doesn't have to. Mm-hmm. It's like, and he looked at me and this finally about four times where I said, but look, it doesn't say that on the jar. It doesn't say. He stopped in the middle of the store and he looks at me, he goes, Mom, you're the smartest person I know. Why can't you get this? He goes, it doesn't have to say it on the label. They can put anything they want in it. And I got so upset. I found our FDA in Chicago and I went and got to the guy with the pocket protector and the short sleeves.
Yep.
Said, I didn't know what else to do. I was going to sue him. I just didn't know what to do. I was so upset. I literally marched in. This guy was sweating. It was just his tie. He was just, and I just said, and he goes, and this is what his explanation was. He said, well, we have to have some regulation on something coming that are in the jars. And he said, an apple is not an apple. It's not an apple. It depends on the sun and the soil, depending on how much fiber and what it actually has. And if we had stringent, like if it was too stringent, you couldn't call that an apple if it didn't meet within this very, small perimeter of guidelines. So he said, that was his explanation. After we went around a little while with that. And he said, you have to have something. He said, I know that they abuse that. We know that they abuse that, but we don't know what to do about it because you've just got to keep the whole world moving. So it wasn't quite that eloquent the way he said it. He was.
I'm sure. I love that you rattled the FDA.
I was so mad
to admit basically that, hey, yeah, we got to allow some toxins in there. Like, what are we going to do? Police everyone's like, well, it's kind of what people think you're doing. When, like you said, when you read a label, you put your trust in that there are regulations that will show you everything in there. And that is not the truth. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go.
I was going to say that's the reason that I think it's so important to go to the people that are making it and ask these questions of, tell me about how you made skinny, right? Because if you're just like, oh, it's just in a manufacturer and this and that, and you never even mention that 19.99% could be something you've never heard of that causes cancer. That could be the case. No one knows. I'm not saying it is, but I'm not saying it isn't either. You don't know that unless you go to it. And of course, there's trust in what you're saying, but what you're saying at least is giving some level of transparency into why it is of this quality and why what you're putting on there is exactly what's in there.
When we do that, what we have found when you start working with contract manufacturers, I mean, we don't contract manufacture anything of skinny products, but when you start, they literally will tell a contract manufacturer, oh, I want a face cream. They don't even know. I mean, the beauty company is marketing it, but they have no idea what ingredients are in that face cream. They don't even ask for the ingredient list. I mean, from the contract manufacturers that we know, because obviously we consider ourselves a manufacturer because we literally, this is therapeutic grade essential oils. Every ingredient in here is energetically tested per your dad's technique. And I mean, everything that we do is as good and as true and as honest and has the integrity and transparency that we can possibly do in the world today. And we're just trying to get better. I mean, we are just trying to take it one step further and one step further because we feel like that is the future, because we all, you've got so much sickness, you've got so many skin problems. And that's the problem with a line of beauty products that just deems themselves natural. They're made from the same contract manufacturers that are making the generic stuff. And it's all the same. Nobody's looking behind the curtain.